Hey everybody, my name is Pat Cohan and this is the THSADA Director's Cut, and we're going to give you the highlights from the THSADA Spring Sponsor Showcase here in Lake Conroe, Texas at the Margaritaville Resort. What you're going to see in this episode are highlights from the Quad A session where aspiring athletic administrators are trying to see if this is the path they want to go on.
So those are huge expenses that you have to consider when you tell your coaches that they can add a tournament.
We're going to see our main stage sessions with some of the top superintendents in the state are going to share advice on what they want to see in athletic departments and from athletic directors.
And one thing I can tell you for sure is coaches matter.
We're going to take you into the new Director's Cut podcast show powered by Go Vision.
How is AI going to change high school sports over the next 5 years?
Wow, that's a great question. How is AI going to change everything?
Thanks so much for watching. We hope you enjoy this episode. And remember, state conference registration is open today. And if you want to get into that hotel room block, you do need to register early to have access to those rooms. So stay safe, good luck in your next seasons, and register for the state conference coming up this June.
And one thing I can tell you for sure is coaches matter. And to your question, in every single school district, in every single context, I have appreciated at my right hand, instruction is important, but people don't come to school for math. They don't come to school for science. They come to school for athletics, and I know because I was one of those students. I know, coming from poverty, your English teacher didn't have time to invest, but Coach Murphy did. Listen, the English teacher didn't have time, but Coach Elmore did. And because of all the coaches, yes, I graduated in the top, yes, I was good academically, but coming from a poverty-stricken home with no parents, it was life-changing to be in athletics. And so when I think about small school, listen, my athletic director, he taught a couple of classes and he was still over the entire program. Mid-sized school, he had to be the athletic director for both boys and girls, but he didn't have to teach a class. And now I'm very fortunate. I have an executive director, Coach Dre. I have my two athletic directors here, Coach Mader and Coach Colbert. And it's a little bit more layered, but nothing's changed. It is expected that we have a close relationship as we strive to achieve the goals for the students that we serve. It's important, number one, that we build the leadership, as our colleagues have already alluded to, by connecting, inspiring, and ultimately having an impact. And the way that happens, it doesn't happen by chance. You can't wish for it. You can't make it happen. You can't mandate it. You've got to build those relationships. So I spend a lot of time with athletics because it's important to me. When we build and grow the numbers in athletics, when we teach our young men and our young women how to be leaders on the court and also leaders in the classrooms, then of course we see those changes that happen in our classrooms. So I'm really proud of you all because leadership matters. And in our district, no matter what size, our athletic department, our executive director of athletics is at the table because it matters. And because leadership matters, coaches matter.
I've probably conducted 100 investigations. It wasn't until I became an assistant soup that I needed to start having someone sit beside me while I talked to people. Because what I was finding is that I could find that a person was guilty and they would lie on you and use you as a distractor from what the infraction was. Somehow, all of a sudden, we're talking about me when the whole investigation was about you. And I'm like, how did I get here? I would typically try to find someone who offsets me, so I would highly recommend you not choose another person from the athletic department to assist you in your investigation. HR is perfect. I go straight to the HR director. She writes really fast. She can take notes. And all she does is she sits there with a notepad and she's taking notes and quotes is what I'm looking for. Because these are things later that I'm going to compile to put in my findings. Every place I've ever worked, the last thing they want is for me to conduct the investigation. Because when I show up, it's going to be a white glove on and a magnifying glass. I'm not playing. And everybody knows, and I tell them as soon as I sit down with them, look, I know more than you know. I need affirmation to the things I know. Don't run. If you know something, I need you to tell me there is a lot at stake here. If I find out that you have misled me, once I button this whole thing up, I'm coming back and I'm dealing with you. And the thing that unnerves me more than anything is sometimes coaches, especially young ones or really cocky coaches, have this attitude like nothing really matters, they're untouchable, and they can screw up your entire program. Your whole career you've dedicated to having a polished, spotless record, above board, and then you've got one person who doesn't buy into that, and they compromise the whole optics of everything you've ever worked towards. I won't allow that to happen.
First thing in red here is starting next school year, that every single student will need to have the PAPF at least started in page 1 completed in file in the portal in order to participate at any level of play. Okay, so if you get a new student in, you're going to have to complete page 1, have those signatures there, have it in the portal, or they are not playing freshman, they're not playing JV, they're not playing. Okay, what happens if you suspect that somebody is playing kids and hasn't met this provision? You could turn them into the DEC. The DEC could evaluate that and could hold the coach accountable to a range of punishments.
Tournaments. We had a session in our area, well actually it was like a meeting in our area of all of the people that host the majority of the tournaments. I was stunned when I got on that call and there was only 4 of us and we hosted like 80% of the tournaments in our area. That is a huge expense. We had one softball tournament. I only allowed them to have 8 teams, and just the officials was nearly $5,000. Okay, so that doesn't include any workers. That's only the officials. So those are huge expenses that you have to consider when you tell your coaches that they can add a tournament.
How is AI going to change high school sports over the next 5 years?
Wow, that's a great question. How is AI going to change everything? Companies that are not AIing now are already behind. AI it's here. The question is, here we go, war stories. When I was an athlete, the coach would get down with a piece of chalk and draw stick figures on the landing mat to show you the body positions. Then when I was coaching, we had some video, bad video. Toward the end, it was better. Now, coach pulls out an iPad, and they can break it down. They have software that breaks it down. So what's the next stage of what AI does for that? AI takes that athlete, takes where they are, and creates a video of where they could be, and shows all of the steps in between. Maybe tells you what exact things you need to do. You don't have enough flexibility in your right hip. You don't. So in sport development, I think AI, I think that's obviously one of them. I think all of the AI programs are already helping me when I'm teaching in my college classes with student responses and creating meaningful responses to the students for the work that they've done. It writes a lot better than I do, so I'll write it, submit it to AI, and they'll rewrite it for me.
But are we losing something here?
Are we losing something? Sure, we are. But our capacity, our capability, as you know, is both limited and unlimited. It's limited by whatever brain power, whatever experiences we have, but it's unlimited by the tools we can use.
And the last thing we did that's really helped too is our athletic trainers created an unbelievable student athletic trainer program. So now we've got 30 more kids involved in extracurriculars as being student athletic trainers for us.
Oh, wow. So they're building their own little army.
Building their own little army. I give them an athletic budget, a team budget, just like we do the others. And it didn't start that way. First, she was
but now, they're
fundraising
able
everything.
to actually service all their, taping ankles and all these things. Like, you can service these athletes now.
And they're moving on to the next level and becoming student trainers at the college level because of the experience.
I asked each individual player, how much do you love your coach? And he said 1 through 13, because there's 13 of them. He said, we love our coach. We appreciate it. I said, well, this is what's about to happen if you all don't do the things that you are supposed to do for this man that you say you love. They all stepped up.
It wasn't a discipline thing. It was more of a communication thing of the reality that they're in.
You're exactly right. And I think a lot of times, man, that's what you just said is powerful. I think a lot of time our coaches don't have that communication piece with our kids,
Yeah.
which makes us believe it's a discipline thing when it really is a communication thing.
What's something you've taken away from this show that you hope to provide value at your district?
One, the 3 assistants I have, they're here, and they can hear it besides just from me. You know how sometimes you hear something the same.
Well said. Yeah, that's a great. Yeah.
You know, okay, they're only getting my opinion.
Yeah.
But then the good thing is coming here, either there's new opinions that we find, in which, hey, every day we're going to learn something new, or it reinforces what we've been trying to do, and they see, oh, somebody else is doing it too.